lose to the Pittsburgh Penguins in Game 3 and are now trailing the series 2-1. This was a unpredictable game for sure. It was all over the place. It was the Penguins jumping out to a 4-1 lead in the first period. The Rangers miraculously coming back in the second period, making it 4-4, only for the Penguins to win it in the third. So, definitely a difficult loss. The Rangers, there's a lot to sort of unpack. I guess we start with Igor Shesterkin getting pulled. I mean, Igor Shesterkin gave up 4 goals in one period. And say whatever you want, and, it's you can't have that. Can't have that. And I understood why he was pulled after the first for many reasons. Georgiev ends up giving up a very weak goal. The one goal he allowed was a weak goal. And that hurts. But there were good moments for him. It's not. I don't want to pin it on him. It's just not fair. I wish that Georgiev, the goal he gave up, was just a regular goal, not a shitty one. It was. But Igor, a 4-goal performance in the first. And some of the goals were fluky, but still, just can't have that. And so Shesterkin really needs to bounce back in Game 4. Look, you have bad games. But it's how you respond to that. So Shesterkin needs to do well from here on out, and especially next game. So there's that. Also, just a general sloppy play, obviously. The Rangers, they were a team that did not allow many goals. And it was more than just Igor. Generally, this Ranger team had done better defending. And that just has not played itself out. I think the Ryan Lindgren injury is very, very critical. There's just no way around it. It is a very important injury. I think that we'll see him again. How effective he'll be, I don't know. I don't think we've seen the last of Ryan Lindgren. Will we see him Monday? Maybe. But I do think that he will return. I think he needs a little bit of a break. And then I think, you can get him back in there. But the Nemeth-Schneider pair is a disaster. I've been saying it's a complete disaster. I've been saying this. You feel bad for Schneider, but he deserves criticism. Braden Schneider is in way over his head. He just is. And Patrick Nemeth, what an awful signing that was by Chris Drury. The hope there, I think, was that he'd be an improvement over Brendan Smith. That hasn't happened. It made sense to try to get someone that you believed was better than Smith. As he was a good soldier. He has, kind of found a role as the 6th defenseman on Carolina. But Nemeth has been just a failure. Abject failure. He was awful tonight. And, that third pair really got exposed on the road, as I feared. You can kind of find a way to make it work more at home, but on the road, Sullivan, you kind of have more control over the matchups, and they were terrible. But also, one of the biggest things of this game, the Rangers had 3 straight power plays after it was 4-4 and did not convert on any of them. That's game, set, and match. I'm sorry. That is game, set, and fucking match when you do not score on 3 straight power plays. With the Rangers, how good the power play is, you had a chance. It was in your control and you blew it. So you can say whatever you want, but the game was right there. And once they didn't score those, I'm thinking they're not winning this game. And sure enough, they didn't. To that point, Mika Zibanejad needs to be better. Come on. This, you cannot have this, Mika. You can't. It reminds me of early season Zibanejad. It's really to the point where he is either really bad or incredible. There is no in between with Zibanejad. So he is someone who, to me, is a main culprit of all of this. I think he's been awful. I think to a lesser extent, Chris Kreider has not been very good. Simply, Chris Kreider has not been good enough. I know he has a couple of goals. I think Zibanejad's probably been worse when you consider everything, but I think Kreider's in that mix. And as I said, Jacob Trouba, I don't love his game either. Those 3 really stand out in terms of expectations. And really, again, the fourth line, it's just not going to give you any level of production. And it's not Reeves' fault. I feel like he's done what he can, but it's tough. And this is where I'm going to, in these 3 players, Barclay Goodrow, Tyler Mott, and Sammy Blais. And maybe Sammy Blais, maybe that's not fair to bring up. He's been out for so long now. It's not fair, but it's worth mentioning. Those were key players. You add those 3 into the lineup, it's a completely, the depth is completely different. But, as far as the next game goes, we'll see. I hope that Lindgren returns. Patrick Nemeth, you just can't have him in there, but he will be. But like, I think Justin Braun, and Braun has his struggles as well. But I think if Lindgren was in there, I'd like to think that you just go Braun on this offside. I just think Nemeth is that much of a disaster. I wouldn't even want him in there. So the Rangers have a lot. They have their work cut out for them. But if they can win Game 4, you're back in a situation where you just got to serve. You just got to hold serve at home. It's as simple as that. The Rangers need to respond. They've done it all year. When their back's been against the wall, they get it done. And so Game 4, they need to bounce back. They have to. You do that, all of a sudden you're in a best of 3 with Game 7 potentially at home if it gets there. So I think that's not a bad place to be. So I don't think, the sky is falling, but certainly the Rangers, they got to limit the goals. I mean, it's just, and the chances. You just have to. It's been, not how they were during the regular season. It's really, really bad. So in this one, it begins in an inauspicious way. At 1:57, Brock McGinn scores a goal where Patrick Nemeth kind of takes the net off the pegs, and it kind of goes in. I'm not sure. I would have liked Shesterkin to stop it. Originally, it was ruled no goal. It was the right call. This was a goal. Nemeth kind of, it wasn't intentional, but, he's a bit of a klutz, and he, pushes the net, and it's just an ugly overall goal, a very ugly goal to make it 1-0 Penguins. But give the Rangers credit, they bounced right back, and it was the kid line. And the kid line, I wouldn't say overall had a great game, but they get a goal, and it's Capo Kakko, who I think has been pretty good in these playoffs. I considering the fact that he missed a lot of time, I think Kakko's been pretty decent. One of the best on that line. And a nice pass by Alexis Lafreniere, who I think's been quiet. I think Lafreniere, if I could, based on expectation, I think there was, Lafreniere had been really coming in with a little bit more steam. But he makes a nice assist on this one, and then Heel gets the other assist, so it's 1-1. Then you get a really, really weak call on Justin Braun, holding Danton Heinen. That is a very, very, very weak call for the playoffs. And the Rangers did a really good job on the penalty kill until the very end, where it's a goal by Jeff Carter. At 8:18, it squeaks by Shesterkin. Not a great goal by Igor there, and so the Penguins get a power play goal. Then there's another penalty, and it would be Andrew Kopp high-sticking Jason Zucker. Jason Zucker returns to the Penguins and does a really nice job. Jason Zucker made an impact. That was a good return for the Penguins. Also, as a reminder, or I guess as an update, Casey DeSmith is out for the playoffs. So Louis Domingue is the goalie. Jari might come back at some point. If he does, he does. Domingue did what he had to. Made some big saves when he had to. But on the next power play, they score again. So the Penguins go 2 for 2 on the power play at this juncture, and it's Evan Rodriguez scoring the goal at 10:31. So all of a sudden, 3-1 Penguins, and they would score again. Braden's trying to put the turnover. Brian Boyle turns, gets the turnover, gets it to Rodriguez, and he scores to make it 4-1 Penguins at 15:15 of the first. Just absolute chaos. And just completely unacceptable. And so we go to the start of the second, and Igor is out. And it makes sense. I think I can understand people being upset about that, but you got to remember, he has played a lot lately. So, it was kind of a bit of a breather. Little did they know that they would come back. And obviously, your intention is to come back. And it does a few things. I think it wakes the team up when you pull the goalie. I really do understand. It's unfortunate the way that it played out with Georgiev having to really play in a very crucial moment. And unfortunately, in the end, he doesn't get it done. But I don't have a major problem with Shesterkin being taken out of that stage of the game. So we go to the second, and the Rangers absolutely dominate the second period. It was in some ways very similar to Game 1, and if the Rangers had won this game, in a lot of ways, it would have made up for that Game 1 loss. They're down 4-1, and they had just an amazing, incredible effort in the second. At 6:51, the goal was scored by Frank Vetrano. Second goal of the playoffs from Kreider and Zibanejad. Vetrano can just score. This is a great trade by Chris Drury. A 4th-round pick for Frank Vetrano. Absolutely worth it. Been a steal of a trade. And the guy is just a score. A great shot. And so Vetrano makes it 4-2. And the Rangers very soon thereafter, so that was the Zibanejad line. Then the Strome line scores. At 7:58, it's Artemi Panarin scoring his second goal of the playoffs, assisted by Fox and Strome at 7:58. It's 4-3. So the Rangers are really building momentum, been really dominating. And then at 15:14, unfortunately, Braden Schneider takes a hooking penalty on Rodriguez. And at that point, And I think it was the right call. It's tough because at that point the Rangers were called for all 3 penalties, but the Rangers would have their chance and they would fail. But on this penalty kill, the Rangers get their second shorthanded goal of the playoffs, and it would be a goal scored by Andrew Kopp. His third goal of the playoffs. Talking about another guy that has been a very, very good. I think the goals are a little misleading in terms of Kopp's play. But still, he's just been a contributor. So Kopp scores a shorthanded goal, and really the play was made by Kevin Rooney. Kevin Rooney, he hits Chris Letang. Letang loses his stick. Rooney with an individual effort, and Kopp comes in for the rebound. And just like that, the Rangers tied up at 4. An amazing comeback so quickly. And then the Rangers would have power play chances. At 18:35, Heinen hooks Fox. Rangers had a bit of a dangerous power play, but they couldn't score. But in the third, they get another power play at 2:19. Evgeny Malkin trips Braden Schneider. And that one, also had some chances. And then at 6:29, Danton Heinen slashes Patrick Nemeth. And that one was not a great power play. Like, the third one was not great. So the Rangers go 0 for 3. That's your game right there. Yeah, that is your hockey game right there. And then at 11:02, it's a goal by Danton Heinen. And it's his first goal of the playoffs. And it gives the Penguins a 5-4 lead. This is a play where Patrick Nemeth, sort of loses it in the corner. Zibanejad had a chance to gain control and just sort of skates over it. Again, Nemeth we know is a piece of shit. Zibanejad, it's just really, really disappointing. He needs to turn it around. And when he does, he's incredible. I mean, one of the best players in the game. But when he's bad, oh, wow. And he is. He's got to step it up. So really, but with all that being said, Georgiev needs to make the save. It goes under Georgiev. On ice level, Heinen just shoots it and it goes in. It's not a goal by Georgiev, and he was put in a tough spot. I have to say that it was the one goal he gave up. And Georgiev, he really wasn't all. He did a pretty good job. Like, overall, the easy thing is just to kill Georgiev. I can't do that. As disappointing as the goal as that was, it really was. And then the Penguins shut it down. Look, plain and simple, the Penguins shut it down from there on. And Gallant pulls the goalie way too soon. At least gain legit control. I'm not saying they would have come back, but they've done this a lot this year. I hate giving up that quick empty net goal. So Gensel gets the empty net goal with 2:14 left. And that seals it. And then Carter scores another empty net goal, makes it 7-4, and that's your final. So a tough loss to the Rangers. These losses have been pretty brutal to take. For different reasons, but I think that the Rangers they need to brush this off, and just as they did for game 2, and the response they need to do in game 4. And again, if you can win, my whole thing was get the split in Pittsburgh, get it, get home ice back. You can, and if you can steal that game, I think you could be on your way to maybe winning the series. But a lot of work needs to be done. They're still very much in this thing. But it is, definitely, definite concerns. Like I said, really hope Lindgren can get back into the lineup at some point. I think that would help. But also, Igor needs to be at top form. But there's a lot more to be had. There is a lot more to be had. Like I said, Zibanejad, Kreider. We could really go on and on as far as players that really have more to give. So the Rangers just need to find a way. Monday, it's close to that is close to a must-win game. That is very, very close to a must-win game. You go down 3-1, it's going to be challenging. It just is. So we'll see what happens. I believe in this team from what I've seen this year, but at the same time, it will not be easy. So again, they just lose a tough one at Pittsburgh, and now they are down 2-1 in the series. And Game 4 will be Monday night back at Pittsburgh.